and then possibly in the championship.
So it's easy to go out here and say, teams like USA. I think they'll definitely be in there. I think Japan will definitely be there. I want to say Venezuela, man. I think I'm gonna go with Venezuela to be there, and then I think I'd be between Canada and the DR.
Okay. I think I honestly I think it's gonna be I think DR will definitely be there. I think without a doubt. I like their team, and the only thing that their issue is like can they get more pitching out of their guys after Christopher Sanchez? And I think at this point, unless it's a complete shocker, USA and Japan should be there. But I really think it's a toss up and between that fourth team and the two teams that ultimately end up in the championship. I don't think this is easy cut as USA Japan back in the championship again. USA, I think, has come back with a more versatile roster, but who's to say they face, like I said, with Japan, they face maybe Dominican Republic and they have the better team that day and knock them out. I think anything's possible. Obviously, with the sense with the DR, like they have a good team. The pitching is the issue. Each of these teams I don't think are perfect. I think Japan might be the closest to it just because of the influx they're able to bring in each year with players. But after that, it's like each team is great, but the issues that they possibly have, they show up at any point during this pool stage or the semifinals or quarterfinals. That's where they could possibly get eliminated. And I just think it's easily possible for USA. It's easily possible for the DR. I don't know if it's the sense for Japan, but at the end of the day, I think it's going to come down to where the issues arise for each of these teams and how they're able to respond off of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think one thing with Japan is there's going to be somebody that steps up for them that we've never heard of and who's a star over there. I mean, somebody on that team will bring it and will lead them to the Final Four. I think that's almost a guarantee. I think with the US, you can also assure them that they're going to be there. I think one guy to look out for the U.S. and potential World Baseball Classic MVP is maybe a little biased, but I think Kyle Schwarber. I think Kyle Schwarber is definitely a guy to look out for. And then, like you said, when it comes to the DR, and that's my only question mark with them, is we know they're going to be able to do it on the offensive side of the ball, but who can be that guy that steps up aside from Christopher Sanchez to eat so many innings and not only eat the innings, but to be valuable and to, not allow a team to score many runs. And that's why I kind of lean towards Venezuela because I feel like they may have a little bit more depth when it comes to the starting pitching side of the baseball. And I think a guy like Ranger Suarez can throw many more games back to back or be able to work on less rest because we've seen him do it before.
Yeah, no, and I think that's where it's ultimately going to come down to in the sense, and you look it's the pitching because it's like pitching and then you have offense. Like if you're able to have a balance of both, that's where I think you put yourself above everyone else. And it's like between Venezuela and Dominican Republic, that's why I just love that they're both in the same bracket because they're going to have to face off. I think it's going to be a very intriguing matchup. Who comes out of it, though, I think that's where the question lies, and that's where I think the intrigue of this whole pool stage in the tournament lies. You don't when you have a pool that you don't know who's going to come out of it, or you do, and it's going to be a battle to get there. That's where the intrigue lies, and I think that's where we're going to get the interest of the fan really, because everyone knows what to expect out of USA and Japan. But when they were like, oh, when we look away from those teams, what are we trying to find? And if you look at Dominican Republic at and you look at Venezuela, that's an intriguing matchup. You don't know who's necessarily going to win that, but you know it's going to be a good matchup, and whoever wins out of that most likely could win their group stage. Because I think those two both easily have the best rosters. It's just they have some glaring holes that if they come up at any time, then it's going to be an issue. But obviously, talking about those teams, it could be anybody.